All right. So, as I like to say, as long as everything is working the way that it should be working, we are now live. So, hello and welcome to everyone who is watching the Written Melanin channel. Wherever this may have found you, I'm so glad that you are here. My name is Chelsea, better known as CM Lockhart, and I'm here with the one, the only, the amazing Audra Russell of Between the Reads podcast, and we are here to bring some melanin to your pages. So, hi,
got a whole bunch of people in here. Margaret's here. Read, love, listen. Ash writes lots. Roussel, Amanda, DL. We rolling today.
Hey. Okay. Look at YouTube coming through with the notifications. Appreciate it.
There we go.
So, that being said, I hope you lovely people are having a lovely start to your week. Ooh, I use that word a lot. I hope y'all are having a good day. It's Tuesday. It feels like Monday. Hope you guys had a good long weekend if you had a long weekend, and so on and so forth. We have made it. This is the first live stream of September. So we are coming up. This year is going by so fast, you guys. So quick reminder while it's on my mind, we will be off. The Melanin Chat is off on the 13th, September 13th. So that's actually next week, I believe.
Next week. Yep.
So I want to tell you guys ahead of time. Ben said you
sorry,
left him
Ben. I'm sorry. Hello, Ben. You're here too, yes. But you're always here. I think of you as like the producer of the show, so I'm sorry.
That would be nice.
My apologies. My apologies.
But yeah, so we are off next week. So get your hee-hees and ha-has and giggles and chuckles in this week. And yeah, that's that. But anywho.
So, y'all know about Black Readers Con. If you don't, go to Black Readers Con. We have lives every night from Sunday to Friday. And Chelsea is tonight's guest on Indie Author Love at 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
So go over to Black Readers Con on IG and watch the IG Live at 8 o'clock. And watch my Black Author Blast at 7 o'clock, where I'm going to share 5 different books by Black authors. And then we're going to hop over and see Chelsea.
Yeah. So it's going to be a busy day. Thank you. I'm so excited. There are a lot of fun things coming up, especially for like We Are the Origin. I am hopefully going to be having a little book tour in October for We Are the Origin. And I'm also really, really excited about that. So hopefully if I'm doing, it's going to be an ebook tour. So if anyone's going to be interested in that, I'm doing it through a company called Cocoa Chapters, which they're a Black company trying to uplift Black authors. And I'm all about that. So I'm really excited. So hopefully it goes well. If not, y'all didn't hear me talk about it. I'm just going to pretend like it didn't exist. So just so y'all are aware. But yeah. Also,
Montrez is here. Mickey McDonald is here. Mickey loves your hair.
And thank you. I bought it for $10 online. It's cute. It's cute. She feels springy.
He said I bought it for $10 online.
I mean, ain't no point putting on airs. Y'all know I got no hair up under here. Y'all know what I look like. So ain't no point playing games. But yeah. So lots of good things. And also, you guys, please do not forget that Amanda's book In the House of Transcendence is also coming out on September 22nd. So y'all, if y'all haven't pre-ordered it, y'all should pre-order it, because I have read the book and I'm telling you, it is amazing. And if you want the paperback copy, look, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. So y'all should go ahead and check that out too. Just throwing that out there. I
pre-ordered it.
I'm waiting for the physical pre-order because I need to have it on my shelf, because I have To Astera and To Alaris. So if y'all don't know, those are her other books. So you also need to get In the House of Transcendence. So if you like Black queer witches doing magic, dancing in magical burlesque clubs, and being unapologetically themselves and serving looks left and right, and you like ghosts and a little bit of necromancy and a little fisticuffs, I mean, I recommend that you give it a try. Honestly, it's a really good book. I'm here for it. And I've read it several times. And y'all know I'm quick to quit a book. And I've read her book several times.
That's saying a lot. You read it several times. That's saying a lot.
Several times, and I'm still finna buy it, okay? Let me be your recommendation. But
I also pre-ordered The Getaway.
I want to pre-order it, but I have to wait until Ben gets paid because that's the way our life is set up. But I definitely plan to spend some of his check on this book because it sounds really good.
Yeah.
But yeah. But that being said, we're about 5 minutes in here. So if you're here, you're here. If you're not, watch the replay. So Melanin spotlights. Also, there was something in the comments. Or the book box. Oh, there's a book box for The Getaway? Where? I would like to know.
I would like to know too.
Also, Fatima is here. Hello. How you doing, friend? Welcome. Yeah, okay. And so I'm going to go first because we're talking about Lamar Giles in The Getaway. And I read his book, Not So Pure and Simple. And I absolutely love that book. It was highly amusing. Highly amusing. And it was very how do I put it? Yeah, when you start getting black kids in church and y'all talk about girlfriends, boyfriends, and things that girlfriends, boyfriends do, he did a really good job with that book. I enjoyed it a lot. And he also did an interview with me on the channel. So after you guys watch the Melanin Chat, you can actually go back to the Behind the Cover playlist. And I had a really great conversation with him talking about his books, his middle grade series, as well as Not So Pure and Simple. So anyway. See, she got me all hype. It's not even Getaway. It's a different book. It's a different book for the book box. Oh, are you talking about Amanda's book for the book box? Because she is doing a book box. Ooh, what's the name of it? One of y'all drop the name of it. Amanda's book is going to be in an amazing book box, so y'all need to pre-order that as well.
Where do you pre-order that?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. I know Amanda has the information, so Amanda, drop the link if you can, or Read, Love, Listen. See, some of y'all... Okay, I need y'all to know...
Ma'am, Amanda, how come? Why don't I know about this book box so I can pre-order it? What the hell is going on?
How do y'all make... I know that you can make people admins on here or moderators. Okay, so...
What the hell, Amanda? Fifth House Collective is what it's called, she says.
Fifth House Collective. Okay, so Amanda and Read, Love, Listen, I both made you guys moderators on the channel. So if you want to drop a link to it in the chat so that people can check out the Fifth House Collective to get your book box, for sure, check it out. Please share. That being said, The Getaway is, I don't know which number book it is. Lamar Giles has a lot of books, but this one is coming out later this month on September 20th. So I believe that's also the same day as, I want to say House of Hunger comes out the same day. I could be making that up though. Don't quote me. Anyway, from the back of the book, really Amazon. A timely, thrilling, and gripping from start to finish, an absolute page turner. Jay is living his best life at Karloff Country, one of the world's most famous resorts. He's got his family, his crew, and an incredible after-school job at the property's main theme park. Life isn't so great for the rest of the world, but when people come here to vacation, it's to get away from all that. As things outside get worse, trouble starts seeping into Karloff. First, Jay's friend Connie and her family disappear in the middle of the night, and no one will talk about it. Then, the richest and most powerful families start arriving. Only, they aren't leaving. Unknown to the employees, the resort has been selling shares in an end-of-the-world oasis, the best of the best at the end of days. And in order to deliver the top-notch customer service the wealthy clientele paid for, the employees will be at their total beck and call, whether they like it or not. Yet, Karloff Country didn't count on Jay and his crew, and just how far they'll go to find out the truth and save themselves. But what's more dangerous, the monster you know in your home, or the unknown nightmare outside the walls? So, sounds good. I don't know if I've been hanging out with Amanda too much, but I'm really getting more into horror, creepy, thriller type books, and this one sounds like it'll be the cover and the way that I trust Lamar Giles to write a good story. I'm really excited about this one. Y'all know that I have my registered 13 books for the year, but this one might sneak on the list. It might sneak on the list. So we'll see. But yeah.
Funny. So funny.
Okay.
Oh man. Yeah, Don't start no stuff.
What? I just asked you to tell the people about your book. I know you've had to reach off screen and get it. Yeah, go ahead.
She still throws shade every time. Every time.
It's not shade. It's a flex. Okay? And I love it. I love it. I wish I could just reach off screen, but I can't. That's not how I live my life. Tell them about the book.
The Forgotten Girl. I just finished it, and it was amazing. I loved it. I actually posted a quote from the reader's note. That's why I'm always addicted to reading everything, the book, from start to finish. But anyway, The Forgotten Girl, India Hill Brown. And I think she's like Big Hair and Books or something. Go on my page and find her. I'll find it after this. But anyway, do you know what it feels like to be forgotten? On a cold winter night, Iris and her best friend Daniel sneak into the woods to play in the snow. There, Iris makes a perfect snow angel, only to uncover the crumbling gravestone of a young girl named Avery Moore. Soon, strange things start to happen to Iris. She begins having vivid nightmares. She thinks she sees the shadow of a girl lurking in the night. And she feels the pull of the abandoned grave calling her back to the woods. Obsessed with figuring out what's going on, Iris and Daniel start to investigate and discover that the grave is actually part of an abandoned black cemetery. They become determined to restore the grave and have proper respect finally paid to Avery and the others buried there. They have summoned a jealous and demanding ghost, one who's not satisfied with their plans, one who is tired of being overlooked, and who wants Iris to be her best friend forever, no matter the cost.
You know,
very good.
I believe it. I remember coming across this book earlier, and I was like, ooh, I'm a baby horror. Maybe I should read this one. But then some people were like, ooh, it's really spooky. And I was like, I don't know.
But it's middle grade. So the middle grade, it's like, if you're a scaredy cat, it's spooky, but it's not like so spooky that you're like, oh my God. You know, it's really good. And it's based in North Carolina. And it also deals with Esau.
Okay. It's not.
And I'm not sure if that's. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's a real town or if that's a made-up town, but there's some interesting information about segregated cemeteries, both weaved into the story and in the reader's note at the end. Okay. So, very, very good book. Very good book.
It sounds good. It's not on my registered list, but when I make my list for next year, I'll consider it.
And let's see. Her name on Instagram.
Also, how long is the audiobook? Either Audra or anyone who's listened to the audiobook, because I've
I don't have the audio.
Several people in the comments mention that the audiobook is really good. How long is it? Because I might throw the audiobook on while I'm doing something else.
And her Instagram name is Books and Big Hair on Instagram.
Okay. So for sure, check that out if you guys are interested in it. And as always, you guys know that the 2 books that you see on screen are available down in the description box below. So just know that those are affiliate links. So if you decide to purchase the books and you purchase them using the links below, you will be helping to support the Melanin Library so that it remains a free resource for everyone to use. And if you don't know what the Melanin Library is, it's an online database of books written by Black authors. Just go to melaninlibrary.com and search to your heart's content. So, that being said, you can also grab my book, We Are the Origin, from the link down in the description box as well. Just throwing that out there. Quick little plug. But, that being said, let's actually get into the topic for today. So, I'm sure you guys saw the title of this video when you clicked on it. But today we are talking about BookTok and algorithms. And, as y'all know, we are Black. So, we're talking about how that affects Black authors, Black readers, and basically how not to complain, but to just kind of point some things out that we have been noticing, and the fact that some of this is coming more to light. And I think that is the interesting aspect of it. Like, it's not just us in our communities talking about this, but it's becoming more apparent to more people. And I think that's a really good thing, so that we can start having more conversations about what's going on. So for those of you who don't know, and I'm gonna let Audra kind of touch on this because she found the article. But for those of you, okay, I'll touch on it. Whatever.
Okay, I'll do it. You gotta warn me, sis. You gotta warn me.
Y'all see her caught in deer headlights look like, what? She's finna do what? But no, for those of you who don't know, BookTok is the sub community on TikTok for the bookish community. It's just like Bookstagram or BookTube, right? BookTok. And if you guys don't know, one of the things that have been the ongoing conversation is how TikTok is continuously proving that it is influencing the bookish community, and it's influencing what books people buy, what books people see, what books people request, so on and so forth. You hear a buzz. I don't know. Let me know if y'all hear it as well, and I will try to figure out what that is. But I don't hear it, so I can't correct it. If you just let me know. Let me know.
Yeah, I don't hear it either.
But sidetracked. Anyway, one of the things that TikTok has been doing is been influencing the books that people buy and so on and so forth. But obviously, as y'all probably are aware, a lot of the books that have been getting the most traction are books written by white authors with straight white characters. And there's nothing wrong with that. Everybody get their bag, so on and so forth, yada, yada, yada. However, it's been coming to light that authors of color, and we're talking specifically Black authors on this channel, do not get that same kind of traction, do not get that same kind of exposure. And it's one of those things where it's like, part of it is BookTok because people are going to read what they're going to read. But the other part of it is also the fact that the algorithm is not designed to push content. And this isn't just about the BookTok community, but like that's the part we're talking about. But if you look, like honestly, if you look this up or just look at the complaints that Black creators have on Twitter, Instagram, any other social media site, it's a very common thing that algorithms suppress content by Black creators, and TikTok is no different. So when you pair that with the fact that you have a lot of these people pushing white creators, and then those creators are the videos that go viral, it's kind of creating this loop where, again, Black authors, whether intentionally or unintentionally, are being left out when their books are objectively and arguably really amazing books, and they deserve to get the same type of hype, if not more, than some of these other books. And the article that Audra sent me that I read, talking about how Gen Z is affecting like the bookish culture and everything else, even pointed out in the article that a lot of these authors of color, specifically Black authors, are influencing these white authors who are then going to get this like massive success. And it's just one of those things where it's just like, again, there's part of me is just like, how do we fix this? How do we go about this? Because people are talking about it, but there has to be some action behind it, you know?
Right. So the article, for anybody that wants to read it, I'm going to try and copy and paste it. But it's called Gen Z is Driving Sales of Romance Books to the Tops of Bestseller Lists. And when I was reading it, this is what made me want to give it to Chelsea, was because it was talking about all these white books. Like I didn't see anything, like not Beverly Jenkins. I didn't see any Black authors. I think there was a mention of Jasmine Guillory. But as I was going through, and you know, they have the headlines, they said that, where is it? BookTok reduces romance stigma, but upholds whiteness. And I just want to read this little section. It says, ultimately, Koch said, what gets a reader in their teens or early 20s to pick up a romance novel is if they're able to relate to a character's feelings and circumstances. But this doesn't mean a character has to be exactly the same as them. I've never heard Gen Z readers say, I don't want to read this because I can't personally relate to the characters in race or sexuality. Yet the majority of the most successful BookTok romance novels are about white straight characters and by white authors, with a few notable exceptions. Books that go viral on TikTok tend to be by white authors and mostly white women. There are so many books that I think are excellent and don't make bestseller lists, and so many of these books are written by non-white authors. Hazelwood said, there's definitely a pattern and a marked disadvantage that authors of color have to face in publishing. Henry shared similar sentiments, said she often wonders why certain authors like Kennedy Ryan haven't blown up on BookTok yet. She also said she wouldn't be in the contemporary romance game if it weren't for women of color like Helen Hoang and Jasmine Guillory, whose 2018 debut novel, Novels made her realize there was an audience for a book like Beach Read. So, and then she says it's a broader issue than just book talk. And then it started going into the racial diversity in romance publishing report, where it says only 7.8% of romance books published in 2021 were written by BIPOC authors. And then she says there's so many good books by Black authors that get ignored. A
Yeah,
lot, and then I think a lot of books by white authors are just advertised more, blah blah blah. So I just thought that that was interesting,
it definitely
you know.
is. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was saying it's just it made me think about that, and then made me think about the algorithms and how the algorithms are set up. And I know there's a lot of Black book talkers out here doing the damn thing. So I'm just like, why are they not
It
getting picked up?
And honestly, it's so interesting to me because one of the other parts of this discussion that I always um, find interesting is that so many people are, especially on Book Talk, talking about like your For You page is going to show you what you actively search out. So if you are not actively searching for diversity, it's not going to show you diversity. So for sure, a lot of it is going to be what people are reading, and it's going to be what people are pushing, and it's going to be the algorithm, right? But the other thing is the algorithm works the way that it's supposed to in a lot of cases, because I know when I go on TikTok, all I see are Black book talkers. All I see are books by Black authors. And so when people were talking about, Colleen Hoover, I've never read Colleen Hoover. I didn't know who she was. I didn't know what was
I don't know
happening.
who she is
I was
either.
just like, oh my God, who are y'all talking about? But apparently she's blown up on Book Talk. And
Mm,
for me, I'm like, I would have had no idea, because there is, in every bookish community, there is Book Talk and there's Black Book Talk. There's Bookstagram and there's Black Bookstagram. And then there's
mhm,
BookTube and there's Black BookTube. And those things are
mhm.
different. And it's like, what I see, what I interact with, what I understand as normal is not necessarily what the I ain't even calling the majority. The people who are not on Black Book Talk would call normal, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And I just think it's the fact that we have the division, but that we need the division, because we wouldn't. These communities grow organically because we're not being shown in the regular Book Talk community. Our videos get suppressed, and so we have to create our own hashtag in order to be our own communities to be seen. And
Mhm.
I feel like that's part of the larger issue. And also people wanting to search out these books so that they do get the traction, you know?
Mhm.
I don't know. I feel like there are multiple levels to this, but I mean, I would love to know
There are.
how to fix it.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't. I don't think that you can fix it, because I think even if white authors or white readers started talking about Black books, I think they would get suppressed, just because they would probably say they would make hashtags like Black authors and stuff like that. And I think that, honestly, I think that the people who write the algorithms write it so that, it's racist. So that's
And
just my theory.
no, I mean, it's not a theory. It's definitely a fact. And it's just kind of like, with knowing that, I don't know. I feel like where there's a will, there's a way, and I'm like, there has to be. I want there to be a way where it's just like, okay, even if the algorithm is not working in our favor, there still has to be a way to get the same, not necessarily the same, but the same type of traction, the same type of awareness. Because honestly, at the end of the day, that's what we're talking about. Let me talk for myself. I can't speak for everybody, but as an author, I'm not really so much concerned as how many views a video gets. I'm more concerned with how many of those views are going to be actual engagement, and
Mhm.
how many people are going to see my book and then follow up with, okay, I want to read this book, follow up with, okay, I'm going to purchase this book, or even just follow up with, oh, I'm going to at least look this book up. I'm going to give it some time and space and energy. And I feel like,
Mhm.
especially as indie authors, and the reason why it affects Black authors so hard is because a lot of Black authors are indie authors. They are self-published authors, because we've already
Mhm.
been through this conversation of gatekeeping and traditional
Mhm.
publishing, and even the desire to be a part of it. It's very different when you exist in the world with Black and brown skin. But
Mhm.
even so, when you write a book, you want people to see it. And that's why it's just kind of like, especially when the world is moving forward and social media is changing, because at one point it was all Facebook and newsletters, Facebook and newsletters. Everybody needs to have a Facebook group. Everybody needs to have a Facebook page. Everybody needs to have your newsletter list, and you need to grow it, and you need to do X, Y, and Z. And then that gradually started to change to, oh, you need to have an Instagram presence. You need to be posting 3 times a day. And then it was like, oh, you need to be doing reels. And, now TikTok is the biggest influencer when it comes to, well, not biggest, but one of the biggest influences when it comes to book sales and just visibility.
Uh-huh.
And it's just like, if that's not working in our favor, there has to be some way around it. And it's just like, it's wild. It's really, really wild. So, and then Ruel pointed out that Kennedy Ryan is really popular on TikTok. So I saw a video recently where she's actually giving out ARCs to the book talkers who actually read and talk about her, because a lot of the Black book talkers I follow are super excited because they're actually starting to get physical ARCs of her next book. And I think that's also something that could be addressed, because like, yeah, the algorithm is what it is, but if these authors and these publicity companies started reaching out to Black influencers, I really think that would also be game changing in a lot of ways. Instead of just looking over them or glancing over them.
Right. Yep.
So.
Yep. Ben says, I don't really blame the algorithm. I blame the people. The algorithm shows you more of the things you search for and interact with. Yeah, true, but people also write those algorithms, and those algorithms are written to pick up certain things and suppress other things. So I think it's a combination. Like you said, it's a layered problem. It's not something that there's like one thing you could do to fix it.
Right. And I think the other part of it is something else that we have to discuss as a whole, that DL pointed out. And she said, to be honest, white readers can't win for losing, because when they start reading us, meaning Black authors, then Black readers accuse them of pandering. And I think there's a certain level to this, because I have definitely run into the situation where white readers will definitely say that they're going to read a Black author, but then they don't. And it becomes showing a book for clout and to prove that they are diverse. And it's more like there's only one book on their shelf, and it's their go-to book. And that's not to say that to like crap on anyone's attempt at diversity. It is a process, and it's not something that necessarily happens overnight. Okay, I get that. But I also think I think it's important to actually do the work and not just put on the facade of wanting to do the work. And I feel like that's where the disconnect comes in, because as a Black reader who reads books by Black authors, I think it's something that we just understand how much work goes into it and how important it is to share these books, and not just on a surface level. Like, and mind you, I know who I am, okay? I know that I'll tell y'all quick, fast, and in a hurry. I ain't read the book. I don't plan to read the book. I just need y'all to know about it, okay? I live in my truth, right? But I also try to be very honest about the books that I do read. Like, this book was good for X, Y, and Z, or this book wasn't good for X, Y, and Z reasons. And not just be like, oh, this book was by a Black author, you should go read it. And I have no idea what's in it. I am very careful with what I say, so I will never recommend a book to someone that I've never read before. I'll say that this book is by a Black author. I'll be like, oh, maybe you want to check it out. This sounds like something you may be interested in. But I'm not going to be like, oh, this book is good, you should go read it. And I feel like the disconnect comes when white readers are promoting a book by a Black author, never having read it or not actually liking it, but just pushing it for those diversity points. And I feel like that's where the conversation has to come in, where we have to have people actually wanting to do the work and actually wanting to read it and actually wanting to have a joint community, instead of coming in and either telling us how to run our community, or telling us why our community is broken, or telling us why we don't have the clout that they have, when it's just like, I don't know, when you got a head start in the race, you can't really tell me to just run faster. But
right, exactly.
I digress.
And Karen, the reader, said the biggest way to combat this is by creating community, support of us by us. The biggest Black authors made it big because Black readers buy their books, and that is going to continue to happen.
Yes.
Mm.
And also Eva is here. Hello, Eva. Welcome. But I absolutely agree with what Karen said, and that's why we do the Melanin Chat. That's why we have the Discord, and that's why Audra does Between the Reads. And there are a lot of communities out here trying to
Mhm.
uplift Black authors. But as Audra and I have talked about on the Melanin Chat and just in general, in the various communities, because we talk in a lot of places, y'all. We're together like a lot. I just need y'all to know that. But um, just having that conversation of how do we reach more people, how do we
Mhm.
uplift, like we want to do the work of uplifting these authors, we want to do the work of sharing, but realistically speaking, if we're not doing the numbers, it's still an uphill battle, and finding that
Mhm.
community and having people see that community is also part of the battle, because like we're on YouTube, and I know that there are a lot of people who don't watch YouTube videos, especially if they don't catch a live stream live. They're not going to go back and watch the replay. That's just the reality of
Mhm.
it. So it's just kind
Yep.
of like trying to find the right medium at the right time, at the right place to build said community, and then having people engage in it. It's a struggle. It's a struggle.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
but
Read Love Listen said, I think the author of Blood Trials was doing that while marketing her book. She made sure Black readers got priority because I think she's responding to Read Love Listen, who said, I had a few traditional published authors reach out to me, give me physical and digital arcs because I read their books or similar ones. More should do that. So,
honestly, I think it would be great if more authors and publishers, just in general, like, okay, this may be controversial, but hear me out. Hear me out. I think regardless of who the author is, there should be a diverse group of people who read the book. So, yes, if you are a Black author, like, again, speaking for myself, I'm a Black author. I wrote We Are the Origin. It is a primarily Black cast, okay? I wrote it for Black girls, Black women. That is who I wrote it for. That is my target audience. I'm not going to pretend for it to be anything different. However, I wrote it so that hopefully everyone can enjoy my book. Anyone can enjoy my book. However, I know who I wrote it for. So when I was trying to pick ARC readers, I definitely wanted Black women in my target demographic to read it. They were definitely priority number one. But at the same time, I didn't want to be like, oh, well, this reader isn't Black, so I'm not going to send it to them. I also didn't have that energy. And I feel like sometimes with these traditional publishers, they only reach out to when it's a white author, they reach out to white influencers. When it's a Black author, they try to reach out to Black influencers.
mhm.
And while yes, you should be reaching out to who the book is meant for, it should be a mix every time, because you never know who's going to resonate with that book, you know?
Mhm.
And limiting it, I don't know. I personally don't feel like that is the move, in the fact that it happens so rarely that we see it as something of an anomaly. When Black influencers
Mhm.
get books by Black authors, it means that this doesn't happen enough. You see what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
Mhm.
And I also think it's interesting because Black influencers will also read authors by any any race, usually most genres. Most of them are very diverse readers. So I
Mhm.
also find it interesting that they only get books when it's by a Black author. I don't know, that also feels really bad energy to me, you know?
Mhm. Mhm. Yep. Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. It's just a lot of work that still has to go on.
it
And it's not
is.
just here because I read an article the other day where it was an article about publishing in Australia, and they're having the same issues there. They're saying that the publishing industry in Australia is 87% white. There's no, there are hardly any books from the indigenous people there. And that
Mm.
the books there are still majority white, and the publishing industry is still majority white. So it's not just here. It's just like
It's a global problem.
it really is.
And that makes it exhausting, and I
It is.
guess that also makes the work that we have to do daunting, but it's also like, at least for right now, I feel like I still want to do the work. I still want the Melanin Library to exist. I still want to do interviews with authors. I still want to use my platform to uplift and reach however I can, even though I know I don't have the biggest platform. I know that I want people to know about these authors, and I want people to know about these books, because it's important. It's important. I feel like it's important
Mhm.
work, you know?
Mhm.
And it also stems from a place of I know how I feel every single time someone reads one of my books and they do
Mhm.
they go that extra step to leave a review, to share it with someone else, to even post a
Mhm.
picture about it. It's just kind of like that visibility helps so much. Even if it's just one person, that's one more person who didn't know about it. And you never know who's going to be that one person who is going to share it to the right person, you know?
Right, exactly.
And it's just it's rough and it's an uphill battle. So that's why I say, like, I'm not trying to rain on anybody's parade. Like, I'm glad that the bookish community is starting to get more, I don't want to say mainstream because that sounds kind of weird, but it's starting to have more influence, and you're starting to have more diverse people who are influencing it and sharing books. I just kind of wish that the diversity of the books was a little bit more, was a little wider, a little more far reaching, a little bit more equal, if you
Mhm.
will. You know?
Mhm. Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Eva said it is important. You may not have a million subscribers yet, but you're reaching people.
And you know what? I feel that. So that's one of the things that I think I like about TikTok in general, since we are talking about it. And y'all know I'm a TikTok girly. I don't know when she became one, because I for sure at the beginning of this year was like, I don't know about TikTok. I don't want to create videos, and now I'm like, psh, forget Instagram. I am a TikTok girly. That's where I live. If you need me, hit me up on there. Okay, clock app all day, every day. Right? She did a full 180, full 180. But one of the things that I really like about it is just that TikTok feels like a community. So like, even if your video isn't doing numbers, you still feel like you're reaching people. And when they
Mhm.
reshare it, it's just I don't know. It's a you know what it is? I think I know what it is. I like that on TikTok and on Twitter, it is very easy for you to reshare content. It is very easy for you to find someone's video or a tweet or whatever and be like, oh, I like this, I agree with this, and then reshare it with your own audience to help them go a little bit further. And you don't have to think too much
Mhm.
about it. Instagram, they want your whole life. They want you to copy and paste the URL, download a whole separate app. They want to know if you want to copy and paste the caption. They want to know if you want to copy over the hashtags. I'm like, bruh, by the time I do all of that, I don't want to do it no more. I don't want to do it no more. I'm gonna double tap and keep scrolling. I'm not here for it. Okay, it's just it's a lot. It's a lot.
It is a lot to try and reshare. I will give you that, but I still like Instagram better. I'm not a. I have a TikTok. I've done a few videos, but it's too stressful.
Look, I'm not gonna try to convince you to do anything else. Instagram gives me the hives. I don't like it. I check it for like DMs, and I'm going to be on there later for like Black Readers Con, and I understand that people like host events, so I'll go on to support. But if you see me posting content on Instagram, check on me, because I'm not okay. I'm not. I just need you to know, if you see a post, it took me all day to get it
Oh
together,
God.
to post it, to come up with the caption, and I'm stressed. Okay, just need
Listen,
y'all to know.
Margaret, you further along than I am. I didn't even know you could post from share from YouTube to Twitter because I don't understand Twitter either. I go on Twitter on Tuesdays, I post my new episode, and then I'm done.
See, she missing the social part of social media, y'all, but it's okay. I'm not
Because
gonna
I
get on
don't
her.
understand it when somebody like tags me in something. It says somebody responded to me or something else, and it's like, and I'm like, what did you respond to? Because I didn't post anything, and then I try to find the original post and I can't find it. It's confusing.
You just click on it and it takes you to the tweet.
No, it doesn't, because I've clicked on it and then it just shows it makes me, it's like, what do you want to tweet? And I'm like, I don't want to tweet anything. I want to see the original post. So I X that out and I try to hit it again. And then it shows me what somebody said, but it doesn't give me a link or a original tweet. It's confusing, I tell you.
Okay. Anyway, if I see you make a post, I'll be sure to share it to a story. Okay, I appreciate that, Eva. The fact that we have this combo within generation gives me hope. I
I
mean,
mean,
honestly, and that's what it is. It's just a generational thing. I think every generation has their own version of social media. Like older people, no offense, just tend to like Facebook more and Instagram more, just because it's what's been around the longest. It's what they're most comfortable with. It's what most people. It's their introduction
yeah, okay,
into.
Chelsea.
I'm not not trying to throw shade. I'm just being real. Like, it's very straightforward. It's not hard to use, and it's the one that people have been using the longest. So when it got new features and new updates, you were there for it, and so it wasn't like you had to learn the entire system from the jump. Like, it was just this one little thing added to it that you had to navigate, and you move with it. Like, even with you and Reels, Audra, like, you didn't have Reels when you first started Instagram. That's a new feature that came along, but it was only one feature that you had to learn since you were already familiar with Instagram, so you kept moving with it. And then, like, you have millennials who like Twitter, and who like Twitter mostly, and then you have Gen Z who is like all about TikTok, which is probably why it's the largest social media in this era, because that's what they use. And in the future, it'll be something completely different. And then I'll be the old person to be like, I remember when we were on Twitter. What happened to just tweeting? 160 characters. That's it. That's it. Y'all out here. And I ain't even gonna lie. On that little clock app, and they be them little girlies, they be doing them little dances, and they be like, I be like, baby doll, if you don't move out the way and just hit them with the Soldier Boy and keep it moving. Y'all out here doing this, y'all like Chloe Bailey out here popping dance moves. I can't get it. My legs, my life, my system, my lungs are not set up to be moving that quickly. I'm not here for it. I'm not here for it.
My lungs are not.
She gonna be passed out on the floor. Nah.
Oh my gosh, Facebook used to have character limits?
Yeah, when it first started.
Oh wow.
I want to say it was
when
I
got on it, there
were or something like that.
When I got on it, there was no character limits.
Yeah, it definitely had a character limit in the beginning, but yeah, I laugh when they do that tummy hip move. Honestly, Gen Zers use Twitter quite a bit too. I worked at Twitter, and the external data shows that Twitter was their second preferred app. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, Twitter and TikTok are supreme. Those are the ones that I use. They're the easiest. I'm an author. I can do words all day, every day. Twitter for the win. Twitter for the win. No pictures, nothing. I can write, talk. Yeah, y'all see me talking now. I don't shut up. I can do words all day, every day. Okay? That's not hard. TikTok is also just me talking. I can do that all day, every day. No problem. Instagram is aesthetic. And I'm like, y'all see the way I look today? Y'all done seen them other Melanin Chats. Y'all know 9 times out of 10, I look like a bum. I am not trying to be out here playing aesthetic with these girlies, okay? I am not finna take 1,500 pictures for 5 seconds of fame for somebody to double tap and keep scrolling. No, thank you. She's not built for it. I don't know.
I just post what I post. I'm not worried about, competing with anybody else. I was on Facebook all the time. That was my place. And then when I got my podcast, that's when I moved over to Instagram, and now I'm like on Facebook. I go on Facebook on Tuesdays to post on my podcast page on Facebook. My personal page, everybody's like, where'd you go? What happened? Are you still alive? And I'm like, yes, I'm here. I check in every once in a while, post stuff like on my anniversary on Sunday, post this stuff. But once I started my podcast, I'm here on Instagram. So I just stay on Instagram, and then I got a Twitter account because of the podcast, but I usually only post there on Tuesdays. I try to be more active there, but it's confusing.
See, I'm the opposite because I'm like, Twitter, I can do. I had a Twitter, like Twitter was my first real social media. Like, I wasn't into MySpace when MySpace was popping because I was a little too young for that. That was more like my brother's time or whatever. Like, I had one, but I didn't really use it. Twitter was the first one that I really got into that my friends were on. Twitter and Facebook. And then Facebook, honestly, I ain't even gonna lie. Like, I was obsessed with it in high school, and then I was like, ooh, this takes up too much of my life. Like, the amount of time it took for a 15-year-old version of me to be like, what are we doing with our life? And I had to have a sit down and come to Jesus moment with myself at 15. Nah, homie. She was not well. She was not well. And I was just like, never again, Lord, never again. So Facebook is out. And then I was like, Instagram. I like pictures. This is cute. Snapshot, little Polaroid pictures. Okay. And then Facebook bought it, and I was like, ew, this feels gross now, and I don't like it. So, yes. We moved on to Twitter, and then we went back to Twitter. So Twitter and TikTok it is. There we go. That's my whole social media journey right there.
Oh, my goodness.
But honestly, I like it because it's simple, it's easy. I like the notifications on Twitter. Like, I don't feel weird when someone DMs me on Twitter. I don't feel weird when someone DMs me on TikTok. If you DM me on Instagram, I'm like, why? Especially if you like DM me, because I have like 3 profiles, and so people will DM me about the podcast at the Melanin Library, and I'm like, how did you even get this profile from there? I'm lost. It's fine. I'll answer your question, but I'm lost. So.
Oh, Montrez says Twitter stresses me out. There's always drama. IG is peaceful. I don't know. IG can be stressful too, because I've had to block some people. I made a comments on like Black History videos, and I would agree with somebody else's comment, and some troll decides to come for my neck, and I had to block people. So IG can be stressful too, but I like IG. Twitter is messy. Twitter is just you get dragged in a minute.
I love the mess on Twitter though. I live for it. I'm just like, oh, let me go back. I love it when I love subtweeting, because I'm like, ooh, what's she talking about? Everybody talking about the same thing. Let me find the original tweet.
See, and that's the problem, is I can never find the original tweet.
But that's the fun. You gotta figure out who, because you gotta go to the comments, because then somebody be like, ooh, what's happening? Or if you just drop the little eye emojis and be like, what's happening? Somebody will tell you. Somebody will link the tweet to you. I promise you. Because
y'all are all messy on Twitter.
I am a window shopper, okay? I'm on the outside leaning in. Okay? Like, ooh. Okay.
Chelsea is that girl in high school when, the arguing and the fighting is getting ready, people get ready to throw hands. She there like, oh, she's the pot stirrer. Like, what happened? Oh, you gonna let her say that? Sit there drinking just like that. Like, oh.
I wouldn't let her say that to me, personally. I wouldn't let nobody talk to me like that, but that's me.
Just pot stirring the whole time, and then everybody throwing hands, and Chelsea over there like, this is fun.
It's a little intense over there. Okay.
Oh, you are not going to make me snort today. No, ma'am, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Not today.
See, Miss Woman of Color Reader, she get me. Twitter is messy as hell, but that's the fun. That's what we don't go there. Honestly, you don't come on social media for community. You come on social media to meet people, and then you take your community elsewhere. Because if it stays on social media, it's not going to be healthy. It's not. It's just not.
Yeah.
True. And I feel like you have to understand the difference between like your Twitter friends and then like your real friends, because those are different things. Those are different things. Like having someone you can tag and be like, oh, here's a lift. I think you should follow these people. Yada yada yada. Those are your Twitter friends. Your real friends are the ones where you're like, nah, I don't need them to know what my handle is in real life. That's fine. Mm-hmm. These people know me for real.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah.
Nonsense.
And Author Montrez is like, Facebook is a headache. Agreed. And honestly, I think I've shared this before, but just also from like a standpoint of like trying to like market my book, TikTok and Twitter have been the most responsive to my book in general. Just like seeing it, retweeting it, sharing it, commenting it, actually following up when they say that they're going to purchase the book, actually following up and purchasing the book. Instagram is very like, oh, this is a pretty cover. I love it. I'm excited for it. But then like keep scrolling. There's not, for me, my personal lived experience, there is not so much actual like real tangible support on Instagram as there is with TikTok and Twitter. And that could just because I'm more active on there, because I feel like I have more of a personality in those spaces. But it is what it is. Also, part of the reason why I'm leaning more towards those is also with the podcast. When I post on Twitter and TikTok, I can like visually see my numbers for my podcast episodes go up rather than when I post on Instagram. Then like that one video in isolation will do really well, but the actual episode downloads won't change. So probably also, which leads to me spending more time. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy, y'all. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. I don't spend time there, so therefore I don't get traction. It is what it is.
DL said Facebook is my most uneventful platform. Me too. I mean, I post there because I have people that follow my podcast there, but rarely does anyone even pay attention to the post there. I have like one of my cousins does, and DL does. A couple other people do, but I just post there to keep it active in case people find it. But Instagram is my biggest place, and I would say Twitter probably second biggest. I keep getting people following me on TikTok, and I rarely post videos there, but eventually I may do more with TikTok. It's in the works. Once I get my studio, I may do more with TikTok because I have a whole vision in my studio of how I want my studio, and one end of it is going to be all white, so that because I have a large green screen and stuff that I bought a long time ago for the ideas that I have. So it's going to be all white. There's going to be a green screen there. I can do stuff, So when I get my studio, I may get bigger on TikTok.
There's actually like a setting on TikTok to do a green screen, right?
No, because I'm not on there that often.
Oh, well, there's literally.
But I will be coming to you for all the TikTok help when I get my studio.
Oh, no. See, it's a bad idea because all I do is. Hey, you guys, what's up? If you never seen me before, my name is Shannon. I write books about black girls that aren't all that nice. I add a nice little sticker. Boom. Done. I don't do no green screens. I don't do no hand holding. I don't do none of them effects. She's got a cute little face filter when she's a bum, when she's not going anywhere for the day, when she's not got on the wig. There's a nice cute little sun-kissed filter that gives her a nice little glow. She talks, and then that's it. Okay? She's very basic. She's a basic girl.
Okay.
But
yeah.
I just have fun with it. I like talking. I sit here and I talk to a camera all the time. I make YouTube videos. I like TikToks. I sit here and I talk to Ben while he's not looking at me and he's working on his work computer. And I will talk to anyone, okay? It's a thing.
I'm just intrigued as hell by the reach, because when I make something on TikTok, it'll get like, several hundred views. Some of my things have gotten a couple thousand views. Like even with Reels, I've started to post. I used to just make a post of like the sound bite for my show. Now instead of making it a post, I make it a reel and it gets more reach. And I'm just like, when I used to make posts, I might get 20, maybe 30 people to like it. Now that I made it a reel on Instagram, I'll get like several hundred, views at least. So I'm just like, oh, okay.
I think that's because somebody somewhere did an article talking about how basically the attention span of people are changing over time because of the internet. And so basically Gen Z, because they're, coming of age and they're, taking up more demographic, yada, yada, yada. They like video content, just like I think millennials, we really liked really quick, fast-paced content with social media, with Twitter, and constantly changing. Gen Z, they really like video content. That's why TikTok took off, especially short-form video content. That's why all of these social media platforms are trying to imitate what TikTok is doing, but they're trying to do YouTube Shorts. They're trying to do Reels or whatever it is. So I think even Twitter for a very limited time had like stories that you could like record and post or whatever. And it's just like, I think someone said that at this point, TikTok has more searches in the Gen Z demographic than Google. So when they need information, they will search TikTok instead of searching Google. And I just find that interesting. So that's probably why your videos do more reach when they're a video, because they're going to be pushed out to a wider audience. But that was one article that honestly I can't link you to because it was just one of those passing things in my feed one day. But I was just like, oh, that's kind of interesting. But yeah.
Read the list and says pick a trending sound, especially if it has under 3K reels and you get more views. True, but the one thing that I cannot stand is when a sound is overused. Like it just gets on my nerves. Like everybody keeps doing it.
Yeah.
Like
honestly, and I've learned that there's a sweet spot on TikTok, at least because I don't do reels. I'm not even gonna pretend that I do. That you have to have like, you don't want one that has like billions of views because then you're just gonna get lost in the shuffle. But you also don't want one that only has like a couple of hundred because that means like no one's searching for it. So you kind of want that sweet spot. But also sometimes using a trending sound on TikTok doesn't really help because that sound is only. It's one of those things when you find out about the trend, 9 times out of 10 the trend is already over. And so
Mm-hmm.
it's just like trying to find what you want to do. That's why most of the time, me for TikToks, I do stitches and then I have my own original audio where I'm just talking because I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
y'all know this about me. I said it on Audra's podcast. I'm lazy. I ain't finna do research. I am not finna spend 6 hours on TikTok looking for a sound to do a 10-second video. She's not built for
Yeah.
it. She's not built
Mm-hmm.
for it.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yep.
anyway, but I do like TikTok because it has put me onto some new music, and I like that for like this generation where it's just like if they want to make music, they can just drop it on TikTok and they be streaming, and I love that for
Mm-hmm.
them. I really do.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
So, so yeah. What TikTok is?
Get out of here.
I ain't never heard
Can
that
read
before.
your can read your facial expressions to determine which sorts of clips to feed you. Wow. That's kind of creepy. I wouldn't put it past it though, because I mean it's a Chinese platform, and their technology is very, very, very advanced in a lot of things, more than what we realize. I've watched some videos on things with a lot of their tech, so it wouldn't surprise me at
Yeah.
all.
You do have to tell it what to show you and tell it to stop showing you things you don't want to see here. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
And that's on any social media platform. So before we log off, this is my public service announcement. If you're on social media and you are old enough and mature enough to be on social media, you're old enough and mature enough to curate your feed. So if you are following someone and you don't like following them, unfollow them. If someone is saying things that you don't like, block them. If you do not feel
Mm-hmm.
safe on the internet, you have every right and ability to maneuver yourself into a safer space, whether that be
Mm-hmm.
by comfortable or uncomfortable means. Protect your mental health at all costs. And if it
Mm-hmm.
means that you need to get off of social media altogether, then I recommend that you do that because your inner peace is not worth being on the internet for the kicks and the giggles. So that's my public service announcement. Curate your feed, all that jazz. That being said, we're about to shift this over to the After Chat. If you don't know what the After Chat is the Discord server that is run by the Melanin Library, where we go and we chat about all things fun and bookish and kiki and haha, and it is the adult version of this conversation. So if you want to come hang out with us. $5 gets you in, and it supports the Melanin Library to make sure it continues to remain a free resource for anyone who would like to use it. So check that out. Also, check out the links in the description box below. There are a lot, but you can get the 2 books that you see on screen. You can get my book, We Are the Origin. I have a physical book, a paperback, and an ebook, a hard book that is on the way, and hopefully something else that I can announce later on. That being said, you can also check out Audra's podcast in the links below. You can also go subscribe to her YouTube channel where she posts her podcast on a weekly basis. And like, comment, and subscribe, all that good stuff. So, thank you guys for being here, for hanging out with us. We will not be here next week. We will be on
Nope.
break, but we will be
On
back
break.
the week after that on, what day is that? September 20th. We will be back. So, that being said, thank you guys for hanging out with us. And until next time, I hope all your days are lovely and your books are interesting. Bye, you guys.